Good afternoon, Sword family. Welcome to the Teahouse. Now, tonight we're going to be discussing my very, very first and possibly, well, definitely in the top 2 Chinese martial arts. It was the very first style that I learned, and even though it was a relatively short time learning it, it's kind of stuck with me for almost 30 years. So it's definitely something that has had an impact on my life. So I'm going to try, I think, as much as I can, at least one show a month, dedicate entirely to Chinese martial arts. I mean, that was kind of the entire reason why I started the channel in the first place, was to be able to discuss Chinese martial arts as a counter to Nick's channel doing European martial arts. So I'm going to try as much as I can, at least once a month, to have a show that's just Chinese martial arts. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting, I think. I'm sure that some of our regulars in the chat will not be around tonight. Hopefully they'll be able to watch this later. And I'm also, I hope, broadcasting to Kick for the first time. I set that up yesterday, I think. Either yesterday or Thursday evening. I'm not entirely sure which, but yeah, I have a Kick channel now. So as always, before we get started, go through comments. And first through the door at 5:13 was Foxy. Welcome to the Tea House. Sit down and have a drink. Yes, please. That was kind of the entire premise of this channel. Just sitting down, having a drink, and discussing martial arts, culture, philosophy, whatever topic happens to pop up that day. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yes, please do. I think once upon a time, before I ever even uploaded my first video, I think my channel was monetized, but is not anymore. So if you could like and share, hopefully try and get some new people in here, I would appreciate that. And Kitty is joining us. Hey there. Hello, Kitten. And Carl is joining us. Hello, Foxy and Kitten. Hello, Carl. And greetings for Carl and Kitty. And Ruby is joining us. Hi, everybody. Hello, Ruby. Glad to see you. And greetings for Ruby. And more greetings for Ruby. Love the little mantis on the thumbnail. He's cute. Yeah. That is a Mantis Kung Fu patch. And when I was younger, I think 16 or 17, maybe, they also had a pin about that big, maybe. And I took a pair of wire cutters. I cut the pin off, drilled a hole through the top, added a ring to it, and wore it as a pendant. And this was a couple of years after I had started studying Mantis. I wanted to use a picture of Master Mantis from Kung Fu Panda, but I'm pretty sure that, Pixar would come and destroy me. But yes, I do have I think this was a Happy Meal toy, but I found it at one of our our local I think it was a yard sale or something. I don't remember. I also have this one. I have a few mantises. As you can tell, the Mantis Kung Fu left an impression on me. A couple of years ago, his folks had one living in the garden, and I sat and watched it hunt. Yeah, they've had a couple. There have been more than a few times we'd go over there and find one when I was, taking care of the grass or something. I'd find one and rescue it from getting run over by the lawnmower and go take it over the tomato plants. It was really neat, yeah. What should we call him? Thesis Junior. Yeah, sure. Why not? And Donna is joining us. Hey, everyone. Hello, Donna. In case anyone doesn't know, Storm hit Dan's area. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on Facebook. Hopefully, he'll get to see this on the rerun, if there is a rerun. Yeah, oh no, yeah. Saw it on Facebook. Having a naming contest for our green friend. Have fun with it, and Thesis can pick a name at the end of the show. Let's try and not be shitheads about it, okay? I mean, I said try. Well, maybe I'll see if I can, make a poll or something. I don't know. Hope everyone's safe. Yeah. Just saw that on Facebook. He must be chatting via his phone. Hope the battery is full. Yeah. And Midnight is joining us. Hey, all. Hello, Midnight. Come on. I thought there we go. Is a phone battery ever full when it needs to be? Nope. Carl lots alike. And greetings to me from Donna. Of course not. Yeah. Mine is 93%. That's not bad, but oh, Lord. Manny Fu Green Shoe. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It begins. All right. So, as I mentioned before, the first Chinese style I ever officially learned. Yeah, you can laugh. You started this. Yeah, exactly, Foxes. I know. was Mantis. I was 13 or 14, I think. It's been a long time ago. Give me a break. Before that, I am very much a child of the 80s and the early 90s. So, and I know I've said this a million times, and I'll probably say it a million more, but everything was Japanese before my first experience with Mantis. You know, you had the Karate Kid movies. I love. I'm going to go out and watch the new one. Actually, I'm probably not going to go out and watch it. I'm going to wait until it is available to watch sitting on that couch or that couch over there. I'll sit and watch it. I love the movies. I love the Cobra Kai TV series. The Highlander movies, you know, Katana, which didn't really make sense for a Scotsman, but well, that's besides the point. When the Jet Li movie Hero got brought over here to the United States, the poster got changed so that the main character's sword was a katana, because apparently Western audiences are too stupid to realize that there are more swords in the world besides damn katanas. Yes, that still bugs the crap out of me. The trailer also gave the plot of the movie away, which is also annoying. But it was all Japanese. Ninja Turtles, that's another one. It was all Japanese. Then I just happened to take a shortcut, or it actually ended up being the opposite of a shortcut, because I ended up staying there for quite some time. Walking home from school one day. Yeah, just ignore them and go on. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you're having fun. Happened to walk past a house. Garage door was open. It was this old man practicing. And it was so vastly different. Like I said, I know I've said this a million times, but it was so different than anything I had ever seen before that I just sat. Well, I didn't sit because it was on the friggin' driveway. I just stood there and watched. And I don't think he was even aware that I was standing there until he finished the form he was practicing. You know, he was so in the zone that like nothing else occurred to him. And he finished, and his granddaughter came up and tapped him on the shoulder and kind of pointed at me. And the old man just kind of shook his head and went back to what he was doing. Drawing a blank, but something will come to me. I'm sure it will. You can stay, dog. I don't need a dog trying to eat my face right now. And Dawn is joining us. Evening, good evening, Dawn. And greetings for Dawn. And eventually, after a few minutes of the two of them practicing, more greetings for Dawn because everyone's happy to see Dawn. He walked out to the driveway and offered me to come inside. So I did. And I sat and watched the two of them practice for a while. There was no clock in the garage. I don't know. I have no idea. And, they finished up and they saluted each other, and the granddaughter walked back in the house, and he kind of walked up to me and introduced himself, sort of. And he offered for me to come back next week. Excuse me again. And I went home that night. And the rest of that night was just about trying to wrap my mind around this completely new martial art that I had seen for the very first time. I went back the next week and the week after that. And then it became twice a week and 3 times a week. I started learning this Mantis form. And unfortunately, before I was able to finish learning what he was teaching me, he died in his sleep. And I took a couple of years to mourn my shīfu, my grandfather. He insisted, which I always thought was relatively entertaining. He insisted on being called grandfather instead of being called shīfu or teacher or master. He wanted to be grandfather. And so it was always 谢谢老爷, 谢谢老爷. At the end of every class, he was, thank you, grandfather. He had a mantis in a small, I don't want to make it sound like, he was torturing the thing, but he had a pet mantis in a fish tank. And he would sometimes, during class, he would go and catch bugs and put them in the fish tank and have us watch the way the mantis would catch things. And then afterwards, he'd be like, okay, now we're going to apply what we just saw to actual combat. I really, really love that old man. And it's still one of my favorite martial arts. When I found out that the local college was teaching a Mantis Kung Fu class, I went and took the class. And I took it again a second time to learn a second Mantis Fist form. Now, there are legends about how Mantis Fist was developed. There are legends about every martial art. And there's probably a grain of truth to every legend. There's probably a small bit of the legends that are facts. Oh, Carl. Oh, before this show, I guess I didn't realize how many styles of Chinese martial arts there are. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, exactly. A lot. Whatever kind of thing you want to learn, you can probably find something within the Chinese realm that will appeal to what you're trying to accomplish. You know, if you want something that focuses more on kicking, you would want Southern styles. There's lots of kicks in Southern styles. If you want something that's more upper body, you want Northern styles. If you want something that is a softer, you know, like Tai Chi, you want an internal style. If you want something that's more power, you want an external style. You will find something. And if you can't, you can combine different aspects of martial arts and create something entirely new. It's kind of what I did. This is what Trey and Nick call buffet style. You know, you take the parts that you want and you leave the rest behind. I basically use Mantis upper body with Bagua lower body to create something that's an amalgamation of both. There's also a little bit of Tai Chi in there. So yeah, there's I mean, just me, just what I learned. There's Tai Chi, Bajiquan, Mantis. Those are all different styles. So I'm going to tell the story of the founding of Mantis the way that it was told to me. There are other stories. I found this out later through researching when I got to high school and was able to, you know, get internet, which I didn't have before high school. I went and researched Mantis and several other different styles at that point. But I'm going to tell the story the way it was told to me. And then we'll get into some of the other legends. But once upon a time, in the Song Dynasty, China, there was a man named Wang Lang. Wang Lang was a martial artist. And he was challenged to a Lei Tai match. Lei Tai is a raised stone platform where public challenges were issued and people could die at Lei Tai matches. There weren't rules. This wasn't boxing. There wasn't a association there to make sure that the people were following rule sets. No, this was just bloody. I don't like you. I want to prove that my style is better than your style, so I'm going to challenge you. So Wang Lang was challenged to a match, and he lost. And while he was distraught over losing, he was walking home, and he happened to see a mantis fighting with a I guess you could call it a cart. You know, one of those wooden carts. The cart had the wheel had rolled over a bug that the mantis was trying to catch to eat. So the mantis was trying to fight a wooden cartwheel to get its food back. And Wang Lang was just entranced watching this tiny little bug fight a much bigger opponent. Now, obviously, the mantis was not going to win this fight, but that didn't matter because the mantis wasn't going to give up. So Wang Lang kind of took pity on the mantis and rolled the cart out of the way so the mantis could get its food and leave. So Wang Lang captured this mantis and took it home. And for weeks, he would bring it bugs and watch it and watch the way that the arms moved and the pincers would catch. And he started taking notes, drawings, and he did this for weeks upon weeks. And he developed the first Mantis Fist form. And then, when he felt he had perfected said form, he went and re-challenged the person that beat him before. And I guess I probably should have mentioned this before, but the guy was quite a bit bigger and stronger than Wang Lang was. And that's why the mantis was so mesmerizing to him, because it was a smaller opponent fighting someone much larger and much stronger. So they get to the Lei Tai platform, and the big, strong guy is looking at little Wang Lang and just laughing at him. You know, didn't you learn your lesson last time? Didn't you get enough of a beating before? And Wang Lang just took a mantis stance. And the guy was just staring at him like, what are you doing? What is that? And the fight started, and of course, Wang Lang won. Because you don't want your hero to lose. You don't want the hero of your story to lose the fight. And the big guy drops to his knees and kowtows and says, teach me. I want to be your student. And so that was Wang Lang's first student. Did this happen? Probably not. Maybe. There are theories that the character of Wang Lang is just a bunch of other well-known Chinese martial artists just kind of squished into one person. But it's a good story. It's a good story. That's how, like I said, there's myths and legends about the founding of every single martial art. Some of them are partially true. Some of them are entirely fiction. But it's a good story to tell. Now, the other story, yeah, I know. Only fits in your lap from his shoulders up, yeah. The other story that I heard, and this was many, many years later. I think I was a junior in high school. Okay, maybe not many, many years later, but still. 4 years later or so, maybe. But again, it is about Wang Lang. But in this story, Wang Lang was a Shaolin monk, a warrior, a Shaolin warrior monk. And the abbot of the Shaolin Temple. Sorry. Back up. He wasn't a monk. Sorry. Like I said, this was a long time ago. Give me a break. He was a famous martial artist. And the abbot of the Shaolin Temple invited him and 17 other masters to come to the temple to teach the monks and improve Shaolin martial arts. And the abbot recorded all of these martial arts into a manual called Mishou, which means secret hand. And according to this legend, Wang Lang took all of the other skills, all of the other style from the 17 other masters. All of it. He learned it just from watching them. Because for the abbot to be able to record these fighting techniques, the other masters would have to get up there and demonstrate their fighting skill. And Wang Lang watched each of the 17 masters and absorbed everything that they were showing and learned it all just from watching them, and combine all of that, all those other skills into Mantis Fist. Now, again, is any of this true? I mean, obviously you have two completely different stories about the creation of this style. We don't know if either of them are true. We don't know if neither of them are true. What we do know is that at some point, someone created the Mantis style. It's mostly known as a northern style, which means it's more based in your hands instead of your feet. And most people claim that it came around sometime in around the 1600s. Now, obviously, the Song dynasty was long before the 1600s. The Song dynasty was in the 900s to 1200s. Oh, yeah. Is it because it came from the north of China or the north of the body? It's the northern part of the body. See, the northern parts of China are very mountainous, very rocky areas. So you need a style that keeps your feet, the lower half of your body, very strongly grounded, very rooted. Because if you lose your footing in a mountainous area, you might Wile E. Coyote yourself into oblivion. Whereas the southern parts are the plains of the country, very flat. So you have, excuse me, you have much greater ability to move your feet. So actually it's both. It's the northern part of the country, but it's also the northern upper part of your body. And the same thing with the southern styles. It's the southern part of the country and the southern part of your body. It's both. It's a good question, though. I like that. Most of the time, not always. Oh, yeah, no worries. It's all good. Most of the time, you're going to notice a Mantis fighter because of the Mantis Fist itself. Now, again, not always true. But the main characteristic of Mantis is the Mantis Fist, or the Mantis hands, which you've seen me do earlier in this. That's right here. You know, you have the upper arm bent at the elbow, the wrist is bent, and you have one or two fingers, and this is kind of your ready stance. As opposed to, you know, Wing Chun, which has the back hand guarding the center line, the front hand, palms open, fingers pointed at your opponent. Mantis is, and this wrist is for catching and grabbing attacks. You know, someone throws a punch at you. You want to deflect, so it's not a danger to your face anymore, and grasp the wrist and be able to lock in so they can't pull it back. A lot of grasping. If you see someone, now, again, this is not always the case. If you see someone in a low stance with their hands like this, that person is probably a mantis fighter. That is the most well-known characteristic of Mantis Kung Fu, is the Mantis Fist. Let me see if I can find a picture. Come on. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. You know what? I don't know. Was crab style really a thing, or was it just made up for the movie funny? I honestly don't know. That, according to that movie, was a Japanese style. So I honestly cannot tell you. No, you cannot be undogged. Never. Okay. I'm going to share this. Because got to show an example. Come on. There we go. That is a praying mantis guard stance. He's very low. Very low to the ground. Has the mantis fists. This is almost a modified Mabu, a horse stance. But instead of having the weight 50-50, you can tell he's got more weight on the back leg. But he's very, very low. You see a stance like this? That person? Yeah, I'm sure it does. My hips hurt just looking at that. I'm sure it does. Only become undog when he decides to move. He's hard to move when he goes limp. Yeah. Puppy style. You just flop down on someone and go completely limp and expect them to be able to move you away. Uh-huh. Yeah. And that was just go to Google image search and search for praying mantis kung fu, and it was the third picture. The first two were him. Now, within Mantis, because Mantis is kind of like the umbrella term, there are styles within the Mantis category, the most well-known of which are 6 harmonies, 8 steps, and 7-star Mantis. But those are only 3 of the different Mantis styles. 7-star is probably the most well-known branch of Mantis. Most of the time, if you see someone practicing Mantis, it's probably 7-star Mantis. 7-star has hard and soft. It has long range and short attacks, and it has internal and external principles. It is probably the hardest style of Mantis, and not hardest in difficulty, but in the external hard Chinese martial art style. You have Plum Blossom Mantis, which is influenced by Tai Chi Mantis. Which Tai Chi Mantis is a much softer style than 7-star. It has aspects of Tai Chi Chuan and Mantis. That's why you have Tai Chi Mantis. And Plum Blossom is kind of an offshoot of Tai Chi Mantis. Then you have Tai Chi Plum Blossom, which is the 2 of them, Tai Chi Mantis and Plum Blossom Mantis, smushed into one style. Then you have 6 Harmony Mantis, which is known as the softest or most internal style of Mantis. It's the other side of the coin to 7-star. 7-star is the hardest, right? It's the most external. Then you have 6 harmonies is the softest. It's the most internal. And then you have 8-step, which I believe, and this might be, just completely out of the blue, but 8-step is Ba Bu, and Ba, 8, is also the basis for Ba Gua. The 8 in 8-step is the same 8 in Ba Gua. So I think that 8-step Mantis, the same way that Tai Chi Mantis has aspects of Tai Chi in it, I think 8-step has elements of bagua in it. 8-step. Oh boy. I remember 8's character for a green roomy reason. I'm sure you do. And if you say anything, I'm not going to put that comment up on screen, but I'm sure that I know exactly where your mind is going. But if that helps you remember, more power to you. I don't care. As long as you remember the character, I don't give a damn. So that's 6 or 7 different subcategories of the overall category of northern praying mantis. But all of them derive from the way that a praying mantis fights. It's the same way that, eagle claw or tiger, any of the animal styles are all based on the movements of that animal or insect or crustacean in the case of crab style. That's what you're looking at. Now, I follow a few people online who are mantis practitioners. And one of them, I want to say last year, I think, maybe, he took part in I hesitate to call it a cage match because I don't want the association with MMA, but he took part in an actual fight. And watching the fight, for me, I didn't see a lot of mantis in the way he was fighting. But he is from a different style of mantis than I am. So whereas me, you will see a lot of mantis to grab, to lock. Of course, he was also wearing boxing gloves, so you couldn't really get this. You couldn't get the mantis hand. He's wearing boxing gloves. But he is from a different mantis lineage. And he had another video later on after the boxing match. And he would take the video of the fight and he would freeze frame it on a move that he did and then split screen and show that exact same move from the manual from his style. So he he was obviously fighting in his mantis lineage style. So just because you don't see what you expect to see in a fight with someone, you can't discount that they are fighting in that style just because you don't recognize it. It might be a different lineage. It might be a different school. And that's something that I kind of want to end on tonight. We're not going to go as long as we usually do. we might barely hit an hour tonight. But when people gatekeep martial arts, and yes, it was a really cool idea for the video. I really enjoyed it because, like I said, me watching this fight, I'm like, that doesn't look like Mantis. And then I had to stop myself and go, wait, don't do that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I was doing the exact same thing that I'm talking about. I was gatekeeping. One of the things that annoys me the most when it comes to the entirety of martial arts is gatekeeping. Is people saying, well, you are not that school because you're not doing it the way I do it. I do it differently. I'm right. You're wrong. That pisses me off. Because, yes, absolutely, there are people out there who are full of shit, who claim lineages that they do not have. But just because there are bad people out there, there are liars out there, that doesn't mean that you get to gatekeep your style, the style that you learn, because people are doing it differently than you. I know I've mentioned this before. Thank you, Donna. The very first video that I ever posted to this channel was my performance of the Shaolin Dragon Spring Sword. Eventually, I'm going to be able to say that without tripping over my own tongue. At our local variety show. It was the very first video I ever posted to my YouTube channel. I got exactly one comment. The comment is not there anymore, because I let it bother me for far, far too long. And I don't remember the exact wording of what he said, because that video, oh my God. I'm going to have to go and actually look, because I honestly cannot tell you how long ago this was. It's been a while. Probably more than a decade. Come on, dashboard, load. Oh, 2010. So almost 15 years ago. Kind of, yes. Kind of. You know, the Mantis Fist itself is meant for capturing. So, kind of, yeah. But the comment said something along the lines of, you should be ashamed of yourself. You are dishonoring Chinese swordsmanship around the world. And the end of the comment was, that's not the way my school teaches this form. Oh, it's not. I remember it because of that line right there. You know, he's gatekeeping. This is not how my school teaches that form. Well, good for you. And, you know, 15 years ago, me, just barely breaking into posting on YouTube, I deleted the comment and I turned comments off on that video. And I let it bug me for years. But I left that video up. I did not take it down. The video is still there. Just the comment is gone. But he was gatekeeping. He was saying, the way that my school teaches the form is the right way. The way that you learned it is wrong. No, it's not. No, it's not. And that kind of crap. Oh, you can't be a Mantis fighter because you don't fight the way that I think Mantis should be fought. Well, okay. What I should have said, and what I would say now, if I ran across someone saying things like that, is show me. Show me how you do it. And maybe we can learn from each other. Maybe we can have an exchange of ideas instead of this old, antiquated, you know, my school is better than your school. Let's go stand on a stone platform and beat the crap out of each other to prove who's better. That's not what this is supposed to be about. It's an exchange of ideas. I keep harping on this point because it's important to me as a martial artist. The reason that this channel, that this show is called the Teahouse, because of one scene in the Jet Li movie Fearless, where Jet Li's character, Ho Yin-jia, is sitting having tea with the person that he's going to fight the next day. And they're discussing tea. And Ho Yin-jia basically says, I don't care about the quality of the tea. It doesn't matter. And of course, the Japanese fighter is, well, then I don't think you understand tea. And Ho Yin-jia says, it's not that I don't understand. I don't care. The tea itself does not grade itself. We grade the tea. The tea is just tea. And the Japanese character kind of says, oh, I never thought about that. And he realizes they're not talking about tea anymore. They're talking about martial arts. And he says, okay, well, if that's how you feel, then why do we fight? You know, why do we compete against each other? And Ho Yin-jia essentially tells him, we're not competing against the opponent. We're competing against ourselves. We're competing against the person we were the day before, the week before, the year before. That's what we're competing against. It's not, I want to prove that my style is better than your style. It's, we're going to share our styles with each other. And that's what this channel, that's what I am all about. Sharing martial arts, sharing ideas with one another, so that maybe one day we can get to a point where we don't have to compete to compare. We can just sit down, have a glass of tea or water or whatever, and just talk about it. Just discuss. And at the end of our cup of tea, we can just walk away. There's no need for violence. There's no need for, I'm going to show you that my style is better by beating you up. That's just dumb. It's not necessary. So I'm going to stick something in the chat here. That is the scene from Fearless. I obviously did not quote it word for word, but the general idea is there. Now, I know this wasn't entirely about just Mantis Kung Fu. A good part of it was, but Mantis was my first Chinese style. And it had a very profound effect on me as a person and as a martial artist. Other people's experiences may and probably are different from mine. If you don't like Mantis, you don't have to learn it. If you want something else, go search for it. Find your style. If a student came to me and wanted to learn something that I did not know, I would direct them elsewhere. I've done it. Kitty wanted to learn rope dart. I do not know rope dart. I went and found something better for her to learn. The martial arts are not monoliths. There is no one way of doing things. If you don't like a style, do me a favor and shut up. Go find the thing that you do like. You don't need to disparage something just because it's not what you think fighting should be. We're going to end with one more story. And I'm ending it here because it's another case of gatekeeping martial arts. And I just realized I have not had my banners up this entire time. Shame on me. There we go. Oops. When I took Mantis from my second shīfu at our local community college, there was one guy in my class that I could not stand. He was an arrogant prick. And I could tell that from the first day he walked into class. You can just tell some of these people when you see them the first time. And I could tell this was that guy. He showed up in camouflage pants, barefoot, swaggering in like he owned the place. And after the very first lesson, day one, he said, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I want something useful like the Tang Sudo class that I took last semester. And I had to bite my tongue to keep from saying, then go back to the Tang Sudo class that you took last semester. Get out. This is not useless. It's just not what you think fighting should be. If you don't want to be here, then get the hell out and make room for someone who does want to be here. Gatekeeping sucks. And that might be a future rant for another time. Now we are past the hour. As always, I do need to go get me something to eat. I want to thank my two patrons, Joe Bachman and Dan Hollifield, who are not here tonight. I want to thank all of my sword family in the chat and the ones who aren't here. I never really expected that there would ever be people that would want to listen to me talk about these things. But there are. They're in the chat right now. There are people watching these videos later. There are people watching the shorter form videos that I post to my channel. I appreciate every single one of you, even the people who leave poor comments. I will be back next week. Don't know what I'll be doing, but special announcement. The week after that, the 21st, tea time with the very first fellow Chinese martial artist. Now, because said martial artist is in Switzerland, which I had no idea that he was in Switzerland. I guess I just gave away a little bit of it, that it is a male, it is a he. The show will be earlier in the day. Now, I haven't decided yet if I want to just have the stream in the morning, late morning for me, or record it in the morning and then premiere it at my normal time. I got 2 weeks to figure that out. But 2 weeks from today, fellow Chinese martial artists, I'm really, really looking forward to this one. So keep an eye out for that. night, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. Later, all. Night, night. I'm glad that night from Dawn, good night from Ruby. I'm glad you're all enjoying these little rambles that I do. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. 再见。